What's going on, guys? It is me, Tyson Trainer, back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about little setbacks that happen in life because, I think we all do suffer with setbacks, but it is actually quite challenging when you're someone who is like an athlete to a degree, because we always expect the best of ourselves and always, want to be pushing forwards, making progress, doing things that we can do, but sometimes, even as an athlete, there is going to be shit that just comes up, You're going to be overwhelmed with life. You may get set back with an injury. You may have fallen off track with your diet. So many different things can happen. And this is just, again, lifestyle, and our life is fluid, and there's always going to be changes that are happening. And it's something that's just a part of the process, and we have to learn to roll with the punches for the most part. All right? And I want to talk to you guys today about this because this is something that I have struggled with recently. So as you guys know, I've talked a bit about my boxing and how I'm going to be doing, fighting this year. And the unfortunate thing is, since coming back from Thailand, my diet was just shit. I was eating I was 87.5 kilos before going to Thailand. In Thailand, enjoyed myself, drank way too much, didn't move as much, didn't train after I injured myself with the scooter accident. Came back, still couldn't train. It was then my birthday. It was then my partner's birthday. So lots of food, lots of enjoying ourselves. Then I ended up going up to Queensland to see my family. Then I was in Queensland again to go on. It was just travel and food and shit, right? Over the last, 10 weeks, I probably put on 6.5 kilos. So I've come back up to 63 kilos, right? 93 kilos. Not ideal, especially when I'm going to be fighting at 86 kilos. So guess what that means? I now have to rein it back in and get back into my good dieting behavior. But in saying that, that's just life, okay? And it's something we need to accept, that we're never going to be this perfect person who can dot every I and cross every T and always be on point. It doesn't happen like that. And also understanding that when things like this happen does not define who you are as a person and your results, or, this is the end all be all. Because guess what? Shit happens in life. And there are going to be times where we do go out of routine, swing, whatever it's going to be, and where things go a little bit chaotic, a little bit pear-shaped. And the biggest thing I want to remind you guys is, again, this does not define who you are as a person, because we are human. And all humans fall off track. All humans fall off track at the end of the day. Because we're not algorithms. We're not perfect. There are people out there who may look perfect and they're always doing everything right, and they may somehow be weirdly AI/robotic, but that's not us, And that's okay. Because again, it's a part of life. It's not about if you'll fall off track. It's about when you fall off track. And the biggest thing that we need to recognize is that when we start to let things slide and fall off track is, do we need to catch them quickly, okay? Because for me, I have plenty of time until my fight. So for me, gaining a little bit of extra weight, 6 kilos, yeah, it's effort to come off, but it's not like I'm in a rush to lose it. So I can just, plod along, start cutting it back slowly, make some lifestyle adjustments, get back into a good routine, and I'll start to lose weight. Easy peasy, okay? If, on the other hand, you keep letting those things slide, if I was to keep letting my weight go up, and let's say it's to 97, 98, 99 kilos, now I've got, 11 kilos to drop, and that is effort. And not only that, now that's compromising my health. And so, thankfully, just with traveling, stopping, I'm able to look after my nutrition a little bit more. With you guys, it may be a little bit more challenging trying to look after you, depending on what you're doing. But the quicker you can pull something up and not letting one bad day turn into 2 bad days, turn into a bad week, turn into a bad month, the easier it's going to be to get back on track. All right. So firstly, just being aware of that, watching what's happening in your life and where things are, and acknowledging, do you need to put the brakes on this? Because again, it's very easy for us to slip into bad behaviors or just, give up our certain routine for a little bit of time due to travel, due to lifestyle. And before we know it, we open our eyes and all of a sudden it's 3 months down the road, you're 12 you're 12 kilos heavier, and now you're like, oh fuck, the pressure's on, I've got to lose weight by this amount of time, whatever it's going to be. And so, keeping an eye on that is the first thing. Secondly, is that it's okay if it happens and you're not alone, and people do fall off track. And the most important thing is getting your head back in the game and getting back on track. And with this, that means building up momentum slowly, okay? There's no point in thinking about what did you used to do 3 months ago. I was training 5 days a week. I was doing this, I was getting in my groove. I was moving. I was doing all those things because guess what? You're not where you are 5 months ago. There's a reason you might be heavier or you might be lighter or whatever it's going to be, but you're not where you are now. And so accepting where we are right now, taking stock of where we are right now, and then making adjustments, changing our behaviors based on where we are. Okay? And it's a bit of a tough one because it's like, oh, well, it's easy to look back to who we used to be and what we were doing, but it's like, you're not there at the moment, And so where you are right now, what can you do? Where has your lifestyle changed and what have you got to do differently? It's something we've got to consider because at the end of the day, that's all we can do. We can always fucking reminisce and, jump up and down and cry about what our results used to be compared to where we are now. But what's that going to do for you? Absolutely nothing. You can be so angry at the world where you're like, oh, well, 3 months ago, I was at my prime. Well, guess what? 3 months ago, I was at my prime too. And now I'm not. And now I just need to make adjustments again to get back into that swing of things. And the same thing happens with you. Where are you at right now? What do you need to change? What do you need to make adjustments for? How can you start to build some wins under your belt? And starting small is the best way. If for some reason you had to give up training fully, you get back into training once or twice a week. If you got off track with your food, you start with just maybe tracking food again. Maybe you start with getting the amount of protein in again. Doesn't matter how big or how small, doesn't matter how small it is. It's those small wins that will build up to big results again. And I think, understanding that and accepting that it's okay that you used to be here and now you're here and you're going to slowly move back towards where you were, it's just a journey that you're going to be on. And this is like, we always have ebbs and flows and swings. And, depending on what sport you're in, we look at off season. You could just look at something like an off season. Off season, people are always heavier, they're more relaxed, they've been able to enjoy life a little bit more. You could just basically be like, yeah, it was an off season. For me, it's winter. It's bulking season, I could say. When in reality, it's just me fucking around and, not doing the best I can. So I get back on track. But it's like, it is what it is, And that's something you need to realize that it's okay when things get out of hand a little bit. Because as long as you can get back up and keep moving forwards and, get yourself back into a good headspace by building some wins under your belt, that's the most important thing. Because I'm not sure about you guys, but one thing you can, get kind of caught up in your head with is that external, validation or thinking about what other people think of you. When in reality, no one gives a fuck what you're doing, Yeah, you're going to have your friends that support you and stuff like that, but everyone's in their own life. And you may be like, people are judging me or this or that. People don't really give a shit. So you got to do this for you at the end of the day. And, that is the most important thing, doing this for yourself to start moving forwards again, to give yourself support, to get back in a good headspace, to start moving forwards. And just to, again, accept that it is okay. You do not kick yourself while you're down. You do not beat yourself to the ground. You do not say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Rah, 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 rah. That doesn't work. All right. You want to ruin yourself you want to ruin yourself, what's the word I'm trying? Confidence. You want to ruin your confidence? Kick yourself when you're down. Ruin yourself. Call yourself names. Do all those things. But it's not going to help you get back on track. It's just going to help you feel fucking more resentful of yourself. So instead, celebrate some little wins. Focus on how you can get back on track and start to just move that needle forwards. Again, it's not about thinking about trying to get back to where you were as fast as possible. It's about making those little adjustments right now where you're at, making small little things on a daily basis to get yourself back towards where you need to be, all right? And it's not going to happen overnight, and you can't have that expectation overnight. Because even though you got to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm fucking sweet, and it may have only been a month or two to get you out of where you were, it's going to take a hell of a lot of work to get you back to where you want to be. So it's something you also need to just reconsider, all right? It is probably going to take you a lot longer than you think, and that's okay. That's the most important thing. That is okay that it's going to take you some time. So start today. Start with one step. Start with something that's going to move you in the right direction. Because the easiest thing to do is to build some small wins under your belt, to get that momentum going, to make you feel good, to support yourself, to be your own fucking cheerleader, to celebrate those wins. Because each time you celebrate a little win, you move that needle forwards one step. And every step you take forwards, it's like looking at a big mountain and you're like, God damn, I've got to fucking go up this whole mountain. How do you climb a mountain? By one step, You're not going to climb the whole mountain in one day, but every step you take gets you closer and closer and closer. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that makes sense, guys. Again, you're not alone. We all fall off track, and it's all about just getting our head back in the game and moving forwards again. So if you guys have any questions or if you get stuck, make sure you message me on Instagram at Tyson the Trainer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll speak to you then.